Hey everybody, I got a story to tell you. It just happened, so I ran home and I was like, let me throw it up on tape as soon as possible while it's still fresh in my mind. It's an interesting story that in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it's been an interesting week. See, I was out of town when the assassination happened, and I got home maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days after, and it was a different feeling when I got home. And I don't know about you, but, well, you probably not. Anyone that knows me knows that in general, I'm a easy to anger person with a sharp tongue that never shies away from confrontation, enjoys shit talking sessions, and that's kind of just my general nature. And I'm not necessarily, over the years, it's got me into some trouble. Don't get me wrong, some of it was fun, but for the most part, I don't like it. But that's my nature. But among many other things, what the death of Charlie Kirk did for me was show me that I am not that good. And while I have a million things to say, and I want to make another video about processing all of the Charlie Kirk stuff, this one's a quick little story about an incident that happened, like I said, just an hour ago or so. So today I was going to the dump, and as I was driving to the dump, I'm thinking, I just have a different feeling about life, with the death of Charlie Kirk. I think it's caused a lot of us to examine our own lives and principles and beliefs and what people are willing to die for. And to me, in general, this nature of my shit talking, you would think normally it'd be like, immediately I'd be jumping all over the people that did this and telling them what kind of fucktards they are. But I had a different spirit about it. I realized basically it's like all of Charlie's message condensed into his death and translated into my life. Meaning that he knows the way to combat bad ideas is with good ideas. The way to combat opposing views is to have dialogue. The way to respond to hate is with love, because, even growing up in a Christian church, a Christian home, you learn that Jesus said, you've heard it said that you should hate your enemies, but I tell you instead, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. For in doing so, you will reap burning coals on their head. And I've always known that. But I want you to know that my spirit driving over there was literally talking to me saying, how about you don't yell at everybody on the road? How about you don't yell at that chick that ran the red light and say, oh, you stupid fucking bitch. Hopefully I bleeped that one out. You have a different attitude right now. You can literally love other people to whatever. I'm not too familiar with that, concept, but I was starting to feel it. And I was like, you know what? Because normally when I go to the dump, they give me a hard time. They haven't lately, but they're like, we're going to have to charge you for this, that, and the other. And it's like $100. And I'm like, geez, it's just a tiny little load. Normally it's 26. It's a long story. So I normally go there combative, expecting them to either give me what I want, which is the cheaper price, or to come up with some bullshit reason to charge me more. And then I have to argue. But as I was thinking about that, I was like, you know what? What if I just didn't care? What if I didn't let it bother me? What if I just was nice? And that was a foreign feeling. But I enjoyed my little drive over. Happy, happy, happy. I'm not normally happy. I'm more intense, more focused. Like I said, easy to anger. So it was a different drive over. Now, when I roll up, they're cool. $26. You're on your way. And at this particular dump, they're doing everything outside. And so you drive around this big old pile of garbage. On one side, they're loading it with the front end loader or excavator with the grapple hand. The excavator with the grapple hand is moving the trash from the pile to just moving it around. The front end loader is loading the trucks that haul it off. And then we come around the backside and dump our stuff out of a trailer or a truck, right? And there was a couple people back there, 3 to be exact, 2 next to each other, 1 quite a bit of ways. I pull in between in a pretty open space and start unloading my stuff. And the front end loader, who was loading some dirt next to us off in the distance in the guy's trailer, finishes that and decides he wants to push all the trash up because that's his job, is all the stuff that people have thrown out of their trailers and trucks, he needs to push into the pile before he goes around to load the trucks. And a couple times in the past, it's bothered me that they bring those down. I mean, it's a full-size front-end loader. I don't know how many yards the bucket is, but it's a big-ass loader, right? The tires are definitely taller than me. And they get real close to you sometimes. And I always get pissed because I'm like, why are you putting this potential energy disaster, 5 feet away from me? You're 50,000 pound machine that's pushing all kinds of mangled garbage. My truck's here. Why are you coming next to me? So I've had a problem with that in the past. And sure enough, this guy fucking rolls up on the side of me, pushes his stuff to the back. And I was like, and that was pretty close, 10 to 15 feet away. But he pushes that up. And I was like, surely he won't go next to me, because the next thing that he could push up was on the other side of me, right next to me. And that motherfucker not only comes up to start pushing it, but he's not going slow. He's going blam. He's going fast. And I literally was like, I better step back, because if a board flips over and cracks me in the skull, I'm not going to have a good day. And so I kind of am going to step back, and he runs over something that explodes. Pop! And all this liquid goes all over me and my truck. And he kind of stops and he's like, oh shit, what was that? And he looks over at me, and I throw my hands up like, what the fuck are you doing? That's my normal nature. So needless to say, actually he went back and pushed a little bit more, and then he opened his fucking door. Because I don't know if I kept looking at him or what, but he opened his door and wanted to say something. And I was like, cool. He's going to say, sorry about that. Bro, I just got to get this out of the way so I can get going or whatever. But instead of saying sorry, he's like, I don't even know what the fuck he was saying. He's trying to blame it on me. So that's a perfect situation for my normal nature, which is to see an incompetent person making bad decisions and then attacking me with an argument. Because notoriously, I'm going to chop them down, because it's pretty easy to point out the incompetence here. Like, hey, dude, I'm the customer. Like, I'm the one paying to dump this shit here. And he goes on about this argument. It was pretty impressive. I mean, not impressive on his end, but the depth of the argument that we got into. He's like, bro, I'm in a hurry and I got to do my work. And I was like, we all have to work hard, dude. I was like, but you're usurping the idea, the relationship between the customer and the business. You're working for the business. I'm the customer. I just paid the money to dump here. I don't need you to kill me. I don't need you to throw. Oh, nothing really happened to you. I was like, look at the side of my truck. And turns out it was like a bottle of Gatorade or something that exploded all over my truck. Which, hey, that's not that cool. Luckily, it was my old truck. I mean, it just wasn't cool. And I told him it wasn't cool. And then we got to the point where I was like, he's like, oh, nothing really happened. And I said, well, what if a board flipped over and hit me in the skull? I'd either sue your ass or get up there and beat your ass, I told him. And he's like, what? You ain't going to beat nobody's ass. And I was like, why, did you just get out of county? And he was like, fuck you, man. I've done blah, blah, blah. I didn't hear what he said, but I was like, 20 years? What? You're in prison for 20 years? Because he's, normal Pueblo dude just covered in tattoos. Looks like he just got out of county. As he was taking off his flannel shirt, because he has to show me how jacked he is. And he's like, I've done MMA for 20 years. And I was like, cool. Then you'll kill me. But it doesn't take away from the fact that you're the fucking idiot that hit me in the head with the board because you're in a hurry. In a business where the liability, I just throw down some law. And he's like, well, you were just over here with an attitude. And I was like, what fucking attitude? You just covered me in Gatorade. Like, what kind of attitude did you expect? Should I be, oh, thank you for the Gatorade, sir. Can you hit me with a board? And then he was like, well, you were just over there with an attitude, taking your time. I was like, taking my time? Like, what, do I have 30 seconds to unload my truck? Do these guys have 30 seconds to unload their truck? Like, I'm unloading one thing at a time, and I have 36 things to unload. I literally, when I hit him with that one, he kind of shut the fuck up, and I was like he didn't have any more words. He was like, yeah, I guess I could tell in his brain, he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. You don't just have 30 seconds, and why am I in such a fucking hurry? Anyway, he took off, and there was a little while where he was still working. As a matter of fact, he pulls back, and he goes over to the next line of pushing, which is closer to another guy, and they heard all this shit. And he starts going into the pile all slow. And I was like, oh, so I just throw my head up like that. Like, oh, so now you're going to be cool? You're just going to take it easy? Did I make you start thinking about it? And I think he stopped to chat again. And that's when we started saying the whole thing about the board could hit me in the head. And I've done MMA for 20 years. And I was like, I don't know what you're thinking, dude. Sure, you could choke me out. Cool. You could snap my neck or break my arm. Whatever. Awesome. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that I'm the customer and you work for the business and you're making unnecessary risk. And you kind of fucked up by spraying my truck and you didn't say you're sorry. And because of that, I'm fucking pissed. And I just turned around and walked away and didn't hear another word from him. Continued to throw my shit. He kept doing his stuff. He actually went around to the other side, which is important here in a second. And I'm unloading the rest of my stuff with this anger in my heart, right? I mean, I don't really get shook up about that kind of stuff anymore because I do it a lot. Practice makes perfect. But in this situation, there was the spirit of Charlie Kirk bothering me to be like, how could you have been cool to that guy? Because certainly I'm justified in saying he's got to be cool to me. He's got to say sorry for covering me in Gatorade. Put my life in danger. Now, maybe my normal reaction is pretty Karen. But for whatever reason, I had the idea. I was like, you know what? I'm going to repay evil for good. With good. I'm not saying that what he did was evil. I'm just saying that I righteously felt like he was in the wrong. So what do? Do I go to the building, talk to the manager, tell him, hey, your forklift driver, your front-end loader driver is full of shit. He fucking did this, that, and the other, and I can't believe it. I've been paying you guys 15 years of paying customer, and he had the audacity to tell me this, that, and the other. That's my normal thing, and I'd probably do it 50% of the time because it is super Karen, but, sometimes it's fun. But instead, on this Charlie Kirk day, I had a feeling of, what if I went up there and just gave him a compliment? And that's what I did. I finished unloading. I drove her all the way back around to the entrance. The same girl comes out. And I tell her, and she sees, hey, what are you doing here? You're empty. You dumped your stuff already. And I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that front-end loader driver, he's a good worker. He works hard. He's really good at his job. And she was shocked. And she was like, okay, yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll be sure to let them know. I was like, yeah, just make sure I'm paying them a compliment. And then I backed up and drove out. And the weirdest thing happened on the way home. I stopped caring about it. It didn't bother me. No matter what, like I said, I've been in a lot of arguments. I don't shy away from them. I have an almost impossible ability to not engage. I've never been the type of person to walk away. But whatever happened by doing that, or I should say in the past, when I do engage with people afterwards, I'm thinking, oh, I should have said this, or I should have said that, or I wish you would have done this, and then I would have done that, and then You just keep running things to your head, and it's like this spiteful weight that you're carrying on your shoulders. And this time it was gone. And I noticeably gone. Because hopefully he saw me, because he went around the side where the building is. He saw me roll back up to the office and was like, oh, fuck. Because he knew he was in the wrong. I mean, neither one of us were good to each other, but if he had to weigh out one side or the other, he was in the wrong. So if he sees me up there complaining to the management, he's like, ah, fuck, something, that's going to be my second time this month, and they're going to be pissed at me, and they're going to fire me or whatever. But then he works his shift, and he goes back to the office, and they're like, hey, we just want to let you know that this one guy came up, and he said you're a badass worker, hard worker, you do a good job, and he wanted us to let you know. How's he going to feel? That's the difference in the world now. I mean, it's always been there, but it's been hidden. And if you don't understand what Jesus did in 3 years, maybe the Charlie Kirk example will show you. And like I said, I want to get into a full-fledged video. I got a bunch of notes I've been taking all week on things I want to talk about. And it's not for you. I mean, God knows if I get 2 views on this, especially if it's on a new channel, which I think I'm going to start a new channel for topics like this. So if you're used to my normal channel, we're going to maybe put a few of these up there so I can get some of my engagement over to the new channel. We'll see. I mean, it's so hard to start a new channel now. I think I have, 8,900 subscribers on my normal channel and probably like 10 on the new one. And it's almost impossible to get to 100 out of nowhere. So if you enjoy this rant session, share it with somebody. That's the best way. Like it, comment that for sure. And what I'm going to probably do, I mean, I need this platform not to spread my words to anybody, not to influence anybody. I got to get it out of my head. Like I said, I was out of town when Charlie got shot. And I'm going to tell you the story in my other video. And kind of try and process everything. Because this is big. This is as big as it gets. And if they're going to minimize it, which they will, any opposition is trying to minimize this. But the power of it is too big. It's too big. Even in our normal society where a girl gets stabbed in the throat and no one cares. Or barely cares. We're so desensitized. But this was bigger than somebody getting shot. This is bigger than somebody getting shot on TV. This is bigger than somebody getting shot on TV in front of his family. Although, that's what makes it big. In my other video, I want to explore what makes it bigger. So, please look out for that video coming in the next few days when I get to it. In the meantime, I feel like I had something else I wanted to say about my old channel. How about this? If you stuck around this long, the 2 of you. So I've always worn sunglasses in my video for a reason, First off, they're prescription and it allows me to see the monitor. I've turned my head sideways because they're polarized. But second, it's always been the idea of keeping a disguise, Maybe on the new channel I switched to regular glasses. Because I can actually see better. So, you tell me. Leave that in the comments. Say regular glasses or sunglasses. Sunglasses, I don't have to see my ugly, narrow eyes. You know what's funny about narrow eyes is Charlie Kirk had narrow eyes. And people tried to make fun of him for it. I don't know if that's something you've ever noticed, but I noticed people's eyes. And when you show them to the computer and to the internet, that's how they determine your facial recognition, in case you didn't know. It's the proportions between the eyes and the nose and the mouth and all that. Anyway, if I have my sunglasses on, you can't tell. If I have these on, you can tell. So let me know what you like better. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.